Where are you at?
What do you mean?
The background. Is that just a background you have there?
She's
Yeah,
in
I no,
Dubai.
I went to
That's so cool.
I went to the beach. Yeah.
Dubai. She's in Dubai.
Oh wow.
I just went away. this
Oh wow.
this is a virtual background.
Mm.
Depends on how your computer is set up, but you can mask out your background without having a green screen, and that's why my hair keeps getting
It's blowing in the wind.
It's blowing in the wind. That's what it's doing.
yeah.
With
You
that
know,
palm tree back there.
I really like this background because it really makes me feel like I am somewhere else other than in this darn office, which I have not cleaned up. That's why it is
Join the crowd, honey. Join the crowd.
right. Oh my gosh, I thought my house was a wreck before, and I was like, oh, I'll have more time to clean it up.
Right.
And that's not the case. When you say, oh, this will be more time.
Yeah, but it's not.
You're gonna have to throw some stuff away.
Oh yeah, but see, here's the deal. The things that I was going to get rid of, because the place where you donate is closed. You can, I have a big pile of stuff in the basement, and I just I feel like I should not throw this away. And I haven't gotten to the point where I have time to do like repurposing and what the upcycling.
Oh yeah.
A lot of people are doing, especially people in the fashion industry, are upcycling. And if I had that kind of time, it would be wonderful. Because I could probably upcycle for forever, based on the amount of things that I need to give away. I have kept things for far too long. So I definitely can't wait till Salvation Army and the other places open back up so I can go and take my numerous boxes and bags to the industry so they can give them to people who may need them.
They probably won't even take it now after this thing.
That was my question. Like, are they going to accept them?
Trash, because I thought about it. I said they probably won't take it for a while after this. No store returns. It's pretty much the same concept.
That's not. Yeah. They'll take it after the virus. They'll take the returns back.
But I'm at this point, I've just started throwing the bottles away because I don't want critters.
Okay.
Right.
To start. I do have one of those blue dumpsters where you can send it to the recycling. So I've been putting stuff in there, but it took them a couple weeks to even pick it up. So that is, they may not, and then if I have to wait too long, I guess I do have to just
dump it.
Either decide to, okay, am I gonna recycle this, or am I just gonna get rid of it?
Yeah.
They have those dumpsters out there too in some parking lots where you could just drive up and put your stuff in the big dumpster.
Yeah, but some of these things are like, I really don't want to give them away.
Oh, okay, that's a different story.
I really don't want to like throw them away. Like,
you ain't got nobody to give them to. You can't.
They're recycling dumpsters. That's what they're for.
Okay, okay, I've gotten much bigger than what I was previously.
Oh,
So
good.
if I have a formal dress,
Okay, I got you.
that I can't fit no more. And I don't think I'm gonna fit it if I, because at one point in time I was a size 2 and 3,
I think we all were.
and if I have a $300 dress at that time, which is now considered vintage,
Mhm.
no, I'm not throwing that in the dumpster.
I got it.
I literally cannot throw it in the dumpster. I really, there has to be, I can take it to the cleaners, we can spray it down, whatever, but, I give it a couple months, but I'm not throwing away suits. I mean, literally, I worked in corporate America, so I had, designer suits and stuff. No, I'm not gonna throw away my size 3 designer suits or my size 6 designer suits. And I don't think I'm going to go from a size 12 to a size 6 anytime soon. I don't think I've kept my size 3s. I think I have gotten rid of those. But I know I have size 6. I know I have size 8. I know. I may get down to a size 8 because they're cutting out the meat, right?
Right.
So if we all are vegetarians sometime in the near future, we might get down to the size we want to. But I still don't think I'm gonna get down to the size I was when I was 20 years ago.
And then even if you do, are you going to wear them? You're not wearing suits anyway now.
Yeah, I do.
Oh, okay.
I mean, y'all see me wearing suit jackets to class, right?
Jacket. Okay. All right.
I still will try on a suit every so often, trying to look corporate when I gotta go to a meeting. We gotta show young people that suits are still cool. Even though everything is kind of business casual nowadays.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, yeah, I went on an interview once within the last year.
What is that noise?
Somebody has on a TV.
Oh.
Here's the deal. If you have on a TV or something, you want to have background noise, just make sure you mute your video so that we don't have to and see, I won't know which one is which. So I guess if we start making too much noise, then what I'll do is I'll mute everybody when I'm talking about the projects. Now, the question was asked about the textures. Okay, so let me get to here's one more. Let me get to that answer. And okay.
All right, Rebecca.
Hello.
Hey.
Okay.
Hello. Hi.
Hi. Okay, so today we're going to talk about importing textures into your design. I think I went over it a little bit last week.
You did. I still couldn't do it. I tried and tried.
Okay, so what happens is normally what I would do Photoshop right now. I'm gonna do this in inches. Okay, so
you were in Photoshop?
I was in Photoshop. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look for a texture. So we'll look for houndstooth. Let's look for houndstooth.
Oh,
Okay, so this is a houndstooth pattern. And I'm gonna take this one right here. That looks pretty good. So I just dragged my houndstooth actually into Photoshop.
okay.
So if it had to be dirt, if it were dirty, I would have to clean it up in Photoshop, but it's not really that dirty. So I'm gonna go straight into Illustrator. I'll be working late into the night, so y'all see my projects. Letter. So we're going into a letter. And I have it set up for 4 pages. It doesn't matter how many pages you have it set up for. So basically, I can take either 2 ways to do this. The first way is, let me clean up my desktop a little bit here. And window.
Is there any reason why you're using Photoshop as opposed to Illustrator?
No, I'm in Illustrator now.
Okay.
Or wait a minute, am I in Illustrator? Yes, I am in Illustrator.
You got Photoshop at the top.
No, it says Safari at the top. Okay, there's Photoshop, and now we're in Illustrator. Okay.
Okay.
So we're in Illustrator, and window, range, file. Okay. So I'm in, oops, I keep giving the tools for Photoshop. Let's go here, window, toolbars. Okay. I wanted my tools. Toolbar. Advanced. Okay, there you go. There's my toolbar. So I am now in Illustrator. I have taken my fabric. There's 2 ways to do it. The first way would be to trace out this pattern, because this is a black and white pattern. You could either draw it with your pen tool, which will probably take you all day. It would not be that difficult with this particular pattern because it's a geometric pattern. So if I were to draw that in Illustrator, I'm going to first bring up my layers. I would lock it down. I would then add a new layer, pattern. And then I would find the one that has the full pattern. So it'll be right here. And I could go click and see, this is not one where you would necessarily need to use your okay. I'm gonna change it to a different color. Get my colors out here so you can see where I'm drawing. So I'm drawing in red. I'm gonna continue with my pattern. This is like a pattern like Escher, the artist Escher. Um, so as you see, I drew the pattern to the best of my ability. And then you can hold down the Option key and then copy it and paste it. That will be one way to draw that, okay? Now, there's another way. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back to my layers. I'm gonna unlock my pattern because I'm gonna duplicate it. Second way. So say for example, if you were looking at your regular drawing, that would be my original. The second way is to take the pattern and use your image trace. And in here, it gives you the option to do it many different ways. I could do 3-color, which it would automatically trace your drawing. But as you can see, it's rounded some of the edges. But if you're okay with that, you can just hit expand, and now it has drawn out the image, and it's a vector image. So literally, I can go through and edit that. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
So that's an image trace.
Now I could transfer the pattern. I just couldn't put it in, like, for example, just put it on the top or the skirt or the belt. I couldn't.
Okay, so
do that.
when you're trying to do certain things, such as and I'm just gonna make a fake out skirt here. Okay, so this is a faked out skirt. Okay. So say for example, I wanted to utilize the original pattern that I got from the web, and I wanted it into the skirt. I would take the skirt right here, or I would take the pattern, I copy the pattern, which is Command C. And then I go into the skirt, right? And then I go edit. Oh, wait a minute. Sorry. I take the pattern and then I reduce it down to the size that you want it. And I put it behind. Oops. What did I just do? No. Object, range. Send it back. Okay. I put it behind the shape. I highlight the shape. I highlight the pattern. And then I go into Object, Clipping Mask, Make, or Command 7. You see, when you go here, it gives you the shortcut. So this is Command 7. And
so
then
you send it to the back first, huh?
right, it has to go behind the shape.
Okay.
Okay. And
And
so
then clipping mask.
now you have the shape with the pattern. And if I wanted to change the size of the pattern, I just double clicked in there and you see how the pattern is like that. I can, you know, change the size of it. Now, that is for a pattern that is already created. Okay. Now, anything, you know, any kind of special effects, and personally, I tend to forget some of my ways to do things. So sometimes I have to be reminded if I haven't used something in a while. And so, and I know all of my videos are not going to cover everything. So I'm just going to show you a way to kind of navigate what you're doing. So this is one way to do it. But what it does is it doesn't give you that much control over the size of the print. You see? So basically you're limited to whatever size you brought in, right?
Question. So would you combine those?
What do you mean?
Like the shape and the design. They're just overlapping, right? One in front of the other. Would you combine them?
Like, say for example,
Okay.
you wanted, this would be like the front panel of a skirt or whatever, and then you could probably,
Okay.
like if you were just designing, you could probably do, you know, but what I was about to do was I didn't want to limit you. So say, for example, you wanted a skirt that had a front panel that was the plaid or something like that. You could do that. Okay.
Yeah.
But
okay, I'll try it more, but I couldn't get past that as far as changing the texture of the.
okay, but here's the deal. You, at this point, you're limited to however you brought in, however big you brought in the picture. So if I wanted the houndstooth to look smaller, because this is kind of a big houndstooth,
Okay.
right? If you wanted to make the pattern look smaller, then basically at this point, if you were doing it in this method, you would have to go back, to window, on and file. So you would have to go back to pattern. You would have to go back, find another image where the pattern was smaller. Maybe like that. But see, like that's slightly different.
Mm-hmm.
But you would have to go back and look and see if you can find a smaller pattern. And then bring that in and see if it was the size, oops, that you liked. Okay. And see, that one has a mark on it saying that this is our pattern or whatever. But you know, in designing something, you would have to sit there and figure that out to make it look like maybe the size that you wanted it. Now, the difference in creating your own pattern, such as this one or this one is, and this is where, you know, we talk a lot, or I talk a lot about the types of design jobs that you could get here. And creating patterns is one of them, or textiles or textures. This is a type of job that a lot of manufacturers like, because I mean, literally you could come up with a pattern for the texture in a car. You know what I mean? Or a pattern for a book, or a pattern that they press into leather or something like that. So I had one designer that I worked for, his name slips me. He was a leather designer in Detroit, and he was the one that came up with all of those jackets, the leather jackets that had different, like Detroit on it, and all of the sewing, and he had a whole lot. It looked like, they look kind of like Pele jackets.
Oh, Al Wassan. Was it Al Wassan?
That's
Was
who
it
was selling
Wassan?
it.
No, it was
No, he
similar
was
to him,
selling them.
but he was the one that came up with it.
Okay.
And he used to go to Turkey to get his stuff produced.
Mhm.
And I had to prove to him I was good. You know, and he after I came, the first day I was in there, he worked me like he just worked me very hard. And after that, after I proved to him that I could do the project, next thing you know, I'd be in there drinking Turkish coffee with him, and he was the greatest boss. He paid me so much money to sit in there and drink coffee with him.
So you're saying you designed those jackets?
No, what it is he would design them, and I did the graphical production.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay, so he would come up with the idea, and I would do the actual drawing for the computer-based artwork.
Okay.
So, I mean, hey, as I said, I made so much money drinking coffee with this man. It was, I mean, he paid me for however many hours, and I was making $75 an hour. Yeah, I was making $75 an hour to do this kind of work, which is creating patterns and doing these finished pieces of artwork. So he'd come in with a little sketch, basically, of what he wanted, and I would have to make them technically correct. Yeah. And so then you wonder why I'm pretty good at drawing these things. That was one of my jobs. I worked as a technical designer, so he would, as I said, he would come in with this little pencil sketch, and I would have to go through and make it correct. And that was with this one. I also did it for Mars Advertising, where I did work for a company, and we drew the artwork for cereal boxes. So I would have to take a product shot of cereal or whatever and draw it. And they would give you a picture, and you would sit there and draw out each cornflake. So yeah, I would make those kind of things. So these kind of things are wonderful, because the next thing you would be able to do is, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to explain this correctly, so I'm going to look it up for you. So if you were to look this up, this is creating patterns in Adobe Illustrator that tile. Okay. So if you were to go here, you could go to the Adobe pattern creator, and it would break it down on how to do it. Actually, I'm gonna do the clip for you, because I think that'll probably be a little bit better. Can you hear that?
Yeah.
With the Design Chef, welcome. Today I have a quick tutorial just showing you how to create a fileable pattern within Illustrator with vector elements. That some people copy and paste and they use clipping masks, but it's actually really simple. This video won't be too long. I'm just going to go ahead and create a simple pattern and open up a new document. And I'm just going to draw rectangles. Maybe I'll do some circles. And so you can see that it's an odd shape that I may want to be repeating. And I'm just going to go ahead and copy and paste this over here. Okay, so I have this shape, and now I want to make it a pattern that I can use over and over again within Illustrator. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is just go up here on the toolbar and go to Object and scroll over Pattern and click on Make. And it's already going to add this over here to my swatch panel. So I'm just going to go ahead and click OK. And you can see that it tiles it. Now, say you want this to be, this pattern to be closer together or farther apart. If you want the overlap of the layout of the tiles to be different, you can use these boxes, whether you want it horizontal or vertical, depending on how you want it laid out. The other thing that you can do to change the width is you click on this tool up here, the pattern tile tool, and it'll put this box around the original image. And you can either shrink down the top, and you can see that that'll move your pattern in. So you can get it exactly where you want it. You can move this in as well. You want these in, you need to do that. And you can get them pretty close. And once you're done, just go ahead and click done. And then if you draw a box, you can actually just fill it with your pattern. It automatically fills it. Now, the other thing that you may want to do, get that out of the way and delete this, is you may want to scale this within this box. And this is very simple. What you're going to want to do is just go over Object again with your selection, and go over Transform and click on Scale. And when it brings up the scale, you have these options here. You don't want to transform the object size, and we don't have any strokes or effects on it, so we don't need to scale that. We just want to transform the pattern within that shape. So you can just go ahead and you can use percentage, and you can see as I go smaller, it will fit more and more of my pattern in there. And that's it. If you liked what you saw today, you can go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel, or you can visit thedesignchamp.com for more tutorials. If you would like to see any tutorials, just go ahead and leave me a suggestion or email me. And that's it. Thank you.
So basically what he did was he said, if you go here, oops, you can take this little piece that you drew, right? And go Object, Pattern, Make. You see that?
Mhm.
So at that point, by drawing one of those little objects, I've now made a pattern, which I can then change the pattern by just going to your size or your dimension or like if you wanted to, cancel. If you wanted to make that look more houndstoothy, you can go like that. But and so now you have grid. You can change all of these things to now make your house to pattern on your own. And then, oops, done. And so now I've got my house tooth pattern. Go back to my layers and see my layers. Oops. So now if I wanted to go into my skirt, which I've locked, I don't have to just do that. I can now take that panel of that skirt, and instead of filling it with red, I can go into there, and there's my houndstooth pattern.
And where is there you just went into again? If you could just like hover over it for a second so I can see where that is.
Okay, what is
Where you have your houndstooth pattern? Where is it?
my houndstooth pattern? Oops. My houndstooth patterns is now in my colors.
Okay, it's in the colors.
Right.
Okay.
And so if I were to do that, I could go into the houndstooth pattern and then object. Go new pattern. Oops. You can change your pattern to the different sizes by using your object, your buttons to change the size of the pattern, just like he described in the video. Did somebody leave?
Not me.
Uh-oh. Okay, so I just took a picture of the class list so I know who's here.
Didn't he use a percentage though to get those sizes different?
Uh-huh. So let's go back to his video.
Yeah.
And see, that's the wonderful thing about looking things up.
And
anytime you want to
shrink
do
down the
it.
top,
Hello?
you can see that that'll move your pattern in. So you can get it exactly where you want it. You can move this in as well.
So what he did was he scaled it in the first one, and then here's where he changed it.
And then if you draw a box, you can actually just fill it with your pattern. It automatically fills it. Now, the other thing that you may want to do, move that out of the way and delete this, is you may want to scale this within this box. And this is very simple. What you're going to want to do is just go over Object again with your selection, and go over Transform, and click on Scale.
Scale.
And when it brings up the scale,
Okay,
you
so
have these options.
Mm-hmm.
what you did was here. Oops, we'll go back here. Oh, okay, so now we're in here, and these are way too big. So we went Object, Transform,
And scale.
Scale. And so now what we're doing is we're not scaling, we're not changing these things. we're transforming the patterns. And then we can go in here and we can take this down to 30%, go preview. And so now the pattern, oops, we go here, and now we have a smaller pattern.
Mm-hmm.
So we can start creating things, whereas, you know, you might have a, and I'm just putting this here. You have a top, and then you know how they used to have tops and they have one big one. And then the little ones repeating in the skirt. Or you could just, you know, take your original and put that, you know, instead of the pattern.
Mm-hmm.
You see? So that way, you're now creating your own patterns. And that's a way to be able to look for different kind of effects that you may have in your mind to do, but they might not be in the book, or you know, you just are just getting kind of design ideas. So now you're learning, you actually created your own pattern instead of copying somebody else's pattern. That's up to you on how you wanted to do it. So you have different options with all of that. You have, wait a minute, is that somebody in trying to get in? I can't tell. Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
Or did I? Participants, okay. All right. No, I don't see anybody. So is there any questions on that one?
Nope, I should be able to get further next when I try it again.
Okay. Now, were you able to, how did you do with your new program?
You mean with Illustrator?
Now, are you on Illustrator? Did you pay for it?
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the trial was only good for a week.
I know.
Yeah.
But last week I gave you two other options.
Critter or something?
Vector and Krita.
Critter.
No, I got the Illustrator. Illustrator.
Okay. So did anybody else try the Krita program?
I did. It's hard.
Oh no. It's hard.
She says it's hard. It's hard.
I like Illustrator than Creator.
Oh, you like Illustrator better?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, that's why it's the industry standard. Sometimes when things are free, they can cause you more problems than purchasing the program. But I know you've already pretty much done everything that you could in Illustrator. Ooh, someone's TV is on. Whose TV is on?
Not mine.
Not mine.
Uh-oh.
Not mine.
Okay. Oh, they turned it off. They got him. You got him. Okay, so basically at this point, what I'm doing now is giving you tips and tricks so that if you were to go ahead and purchase the program, then you would have an easier method to creating your designs. Okay, now how many weeks do we have left?
About 2.
5, I guess.
Is it 5?
Yeah, about 5.
Oh,
When is
no.
it over with?
Isn't it the 6th or something?
June 6th. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
It's over June 6th, which
They
is,
extended it.
huh?
I said the school extended it 4 more weeks.
All right. So, June 6th. Yeah, that's a Saturday. Okay, so June 6th
So,
is, okay, how many more days was that?
we have 4 more weeks.
Oh, we got 4 weeks? Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. So today's was about doing textures and patterns. So how are we coming along with our final project?
What's the final project?
A
Just in case. I don't know if I have it or not. What is it?
collection? Or at this point, it would at least be an outfit.
Oh, okay.
If you want to go for the Gusto drug collection,
Okay.
you can either utilize, at this point, you can either utilize some of the drawings that you've done before. You can use or you can come up with your own collection.
Okay.
Or at least one outfit. At least, at least one outfit on the with clothing, using the croquis, the clothing, maybe add a pattern or 2 in there. If you do not have a method of doing it on the computer, then let's hand draw a collection or outfit. And with that, if you're doing it, I would love to have flats with it. So you know the difference between a flat and on the model. So you're gonna have one on the model and a flat. Okay. If you're going for the Gusto, then you're doing a collection. But at this point, it's more about you learning some different methods. If you're gonna play with the Critter program, that's perfectly okay. Do the best you can.
The flats, do they have color? Or no, they don't have colors?
The flats?
Yeah,
No.
it's just an outfit.
Right. The flats are
Mhm.
okay. Here's the deal. The on the model, it's always the colored version.
Okay.
Okay. When you're doing flats, it's essentially flats are. Oh, let me.
Just the top and the
What-
bottom without any design color in them.
Right. Well, flats are. Oh, stop.
We did
Okay.
flats and
Flats are directions for whoever is creating the actual patterns for your piece. So when you're creating your flats, and as you get better with it, your flats should almost look like your patterns. And that's one reason why this class is called the pattern drafting, because you, as you go along, you should be able to be more technical with your drawings. You know what I mean?
So if in case of the houndstooth, the flat would be the same without any color to it then?
Well, your flat would not even have a pattern. I mean, it would be the actual drawing of the garment, without any patterns, without any without any colors. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Like, it's basically the guide for drawing the guide for the person who will be creating the pattern of your garment.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you're including your swatches with your designs, then that's giving the directions for if you were to do a houndstooth. And this is the, that's the swatch pattern. Okay, so if your dress was created in solid colors or patterns or florals or whatever you wanted to do it, your flat is going to always be the same. Your flat is never going to tell you what kind of fabric or anything. It's basically going to give you the information on the cut and the design of the piece. So like when you're doing your flats, you're actually supposed to be really, really detailed, i.e. you're supposed to show where your darts are going to be, and you're supposed to show where your pockets are going to be and your seams and everything. So that when you send it over to if you were to send it to a production house, they would know how to create. If you just send a drawing over there and you're not explaining to them how it's made, then that gives them the authority over how your dress is being made, and it could look like crap.
I got you. I'm with you.
So as a designer, you're going to have to start knowing exactly how this stuff is gonna be created. So if you have folds and pleats and things like that, you have to tell them where it's gonna be. Because otherwise,
you can't tell them by the design itself or by words. It's just the design itself, isn't it? You're not wording it out. You're just showing the design of it. And that's where they'll get the idea of how it is. Isn't that right?
Right. You're going to show them, well, you're going to tell them if your pants have 3 pleats in the front, you have to be able to say there are 3 pleats in these pants, and you have to show them where the pleats are, how far, and then like in your as you get more technical with your drawing, then you're going to say the pleats are however many centimeters apart, or millimeters or inches or whatever.
But that would be on a call sheet or whatever the sheet is. I can't tell you that right now.
Right.
Though that detail would be on that sheet.
There you go.
Okay,
so
I'm with you.
Okay, so like, here's the deal. Once you create your flat, you can copy that to your call sheet. Right?
Yeah.
So basically, you're doing both levels right here. So you're doing your flat, you're doing your design, and then you're doing your flat. And then once you complete that, then all you have to do is copy and paste and put that on your call sheet. And then you write in the specs.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be the next line after you learn how to do this. But your flats are basically the preliminary for your call sheet.
Okay.
So yeah, so everything is, it's a process to everything. And the more that you know about how all of these things, the process between all of these things, the better it gets. And the more control you'll have over your piece. So that was a good comment. That was a good comment. Question, that was, yeah. So, any other questions?
No, that was the only thing I really had struggled with, was getting that the textures, like you did last week, the
Yes.
same thing you did last week.
So now you have two other ways to mess around with it.
Yeah.
You can create you can create through tiling. You can also copy the pattern and paste it in, or you can, draw your own pattern and use the clipping mask to do that. So, those are really, really good ways to, create. I'm gonna share my screen again. Hold on. And a lot of people, there's a lot of companies now that'll print fabric with whatever you want on them. Wait a minute. Okay. So, for example, you see those purses and stuff with the Barack Obama pictures, or, let's see, who's somebody famous? Oh, wait a minute. Okay, so right now, Gretchen, the big Gretch is, okay. So we got the big Gretch who's hot now, and you could probably do that. And got the, you can sit there and you can make her a tile. So you can literally make the big Gretch picture, whatever picture you want as a pattern.
So you say companies in America will they print your pattern?
Yeah,
they'll make
there's
fabric for you?
there's actually a printer that I know out. They're like on 13 Mile and Ryan.
Oh, okay.
They're called.
You just take them the image and they put in what they supply white cotton or whatever type of fabric you want.
Right. I.e. So say for example, you get a job designing face masks for a hospital or something, or you wanted a Big Gretch face mask. You can create the pattern for them and send it. You don't even have to go in there. You just send them the pattern and tell them how big that you want to make it, and they'll do it.
Okay.
So they have the fabric.
They'll print on anything.
But you have to supply the fabric is what I'm asking, or no?
No. So you could call them and find out what they have in stock for you to print on. So if you wanted to print on glass, if you wanted Big Gretchen's picture on tiles in your bathroom, you can have them print the bathroom tiles. You can have them print, they print on almost anything. They print on plastic, they print on canvas. So if you wanted a tiled painting or your family, you can make a pattern with your family and then send it to them, and they'll print it on whatever it is that you need it printed on.
What's the name of the company you said?
It's called In the Mix. I can. So you go to your, and this is just the one I know. In the Mix. And it's my In the Mix production, inthemix.com. I think they have 2 different websites. But you can literally create, as you can see, they do their own face masks. They would do screen printing. They do all kind of stuff. Canvas, signage. And they do all kind of stuff, and they'll print on anything. So, and this isn't the only place. This is just the one that I go to, because they're always very helpful. They're not standoffish. You call, you ask for Cal, and he helps you out. And so as a designer, you have to know about certain things, because you may need advertising. You may need to print on specialty products. Or you may need to just make one product. But, a lot of designers, some of the first things they come up with is t-shirts. Because they're easy money makers. And right now, PPE is so, everybody needs it. And if you're doing it for corporations, then they may need to have either a cute saying or their name on it. And it's always good to have somebody who is able to print things that you want on a garment. So it's good to know about those kind of companies so that you can get those specialty products and like fabric if you need it to create those. Now, granted, it might be cheaper for you to make the mask yourself than pay what they charge for the mask. So it might be cheaper to call them and say, okay, make this fabric. I'll make the mask myself. Or I'll make whatever myself. But, you know, you can do the whole gown, you know, the mask. Now, I've seen, and I think I mentioned this young lady before. She made a business called, what is it? It was it's a sewing business, but basically what she's been doing is modeling during the quarantine. She's been going online modeling her outfit and then have a matching mask for every outfit that she modeled. So she come online and she got a coordinated mask with her outfit. And some of the masks, she slides up and makes some headbands, and it's real cute.
Who was that?
That is Lorna's daughter. Her company is called So Wasted, and she's on Facebook. So let's see. Wait a minute. EW. Oh, wait a minute. Tracy. She's been doing these TikToks. This is her company, So Wasted. And you see she's been creating hats with the matching masks.
Mm-hmm.
This is actually Stephen Ty that did that. That's a company here that they create hats on the normal, but this is their hat / matching mask. And they tell you how many sets are available. See?
That looked like the hat you were making, teacher. In class, you was drawing almost.
Sure does.
It sure does. Almost, or not really now when you look at the jean style.
But see, like they took a piece of leather. See, these are found. Like if I had the time, like all that clothes downstairs, I could be cutting it out and creating high-end. Look at that. I mean, you know, and this is basically the same pattern.
Yeah.
But they did scraps. Or I'm trying to find her. But see, there, you know. So she's got her outfit with the matching mask. So she just been busy creating. And I don't know if it's, but I see on my stream, I think she's using TikTok as her normal. See, these are all the masks. But she's been creating outfits with masks.
Okay.
I mean, we don't know how long this pandemic is going to
Well, you know the White House is getting ready to blow up.
Well, good. Oops, sorry. That wasn't nice.
The White House. They already got 2 cases already
I thought it was 13.
in the White House.
Well, it's like the, what is it? The security?
Yeah. And the
What is-
secretary husband, who's, you know, big in the White House, he got it. And
Well, you got the Ivanka Trump's aide had it or has it.
Mm-hmm. And one of Pence's aides has it too.
yeah,
Right?
yeah.
And then it's like, I think they said 10 members of the Secret Service.
Wow.
What?
That's,
Wow.
you know, I could be wrong. I could be wrong. But, you know, they talking about opening up the country and they have not. Or they, there are all these signs like, you need to stay your butt in house. So, you know, that's how that goes. I'm gonna stop recording.